In this video, we're going to further our discussion of an Aries Ascendant by looking at Capricorn as the 10th house. Once again, thank you for taking time out of your busy life to watch my humble little video. I truly appreciate it. Thank you very much. And as always, if you like what you see, thumbs up. If you don't, thumbs down. Otherwise, I also ask that you subscribe to my channel too. It's another way you can show that you like it, share it. And then if you have any questions about this, you can either you can put it down in the comment section below, or you can go over to my website, danceofthecosmos.com, where I have the entire write-up of all of these houses of an Aries Ascendant. So anyhow, let's get right into it. So what do we know so far? What we've talked about as an Aries Ascendant, what we've seen is that we know as the Aries is headstrong and move forward, and it's ready to take on whatever it needs to take on, and whatever terrain it may need to go through, it is going to go there, is willing to do to bear the tough journey, because Aries is related to mountains. Now, let's look at the 10th house as Capricorn. So what do we know about the 10th house? Well, let's look at this graphic here. What we will see is that the 10th house is related to, it's commonly referred to as career, but it's really about the actions that we are taking in life, the way that we are viewed, because the 10th house is, from our point of birth, the 10th house is directly overhead. It's how we're viewed. It's the actions we are taking, the obligations that we have to fulfill in this life. It's our status. And so that can be related to career. I mean, when we start talking about the actions that we take in this world, obligations, status. And if you think about it, when you meet somebody, what do you typically say? You're like, oh yeah, like if you're having small talk with the person next to you in line at the DMV or something, I don't know. You say, hey, how are you? My name is so-and-so. Oh, hi, so-and-so, nice to meet you. Typically, it's what do you do for a living? Because in a lot of times, what we do for a living, as far as not knowing someone very well, it's like we start to understand who they are a lot better. Like if you told me that you worked at at a car wash, I'd be like, what would I think right away? I would think, oh, well, this guy probably doesn't have a college education. He probably doesn't own $1 million house. There's all these ideas that we get when we know someone's career. Whereas if you talk to the same guy and he's like, I'm CEO of a car wash company, you'd be like, oh, wow, I assume this guy's got a very large house. He's very wealthy. There's all these things that tie into it because we start trying to understand people's status by their career or their position in life. And so that's what the 10th house has a lot to do with. So now let's look at Capricorn. And you can read all these things here about Capricorn, but the brief Capricorn summary is, it's basically what Capricorn is about it's about hardworking without seek of reward, not being results oriented. That's kind of the nature of Capricorn, is learning to transform our personalities in such a way. And then the other part of Capricorn, this is Saturn. This is a Tamasic Rashi. This is a Tamasic Earth Rashi. It's also about someone who's good at fixing things because they're fearful of what can go wrong. So now, what we see with this Aries Ascendant, this person that is headstrong, this person that's able to go through whatever terrain, whatever difficulties they need to do to get the job done, and we see that they're willing to do that. The actions that they're willing to be taken, their 10th house is related to Capricorn, which is this sign of hardworking, this sign of not being result oriented, this sign of really learning to just do the work to do the work. So what we're seeing with the Aries Ascendant is these are people that have that nature to just, they can be very dry. they can be, well, obviously they can be dry because their ascendant is a fire sign, but they can be very dry because they're so, the earth sign with their actions is about being very practical, and it's about doing just what needs to be done. And that is a lot about what an Aries ascendant is. It's like, I'm going to take the activity I need to do, and I'm not going to really have regard for anybody else, but I'm also only willing to do that which needs to be done. The Aries ascendant person is very focused on the activities that they take being very, and the actions and their status being someone that's just very straight to the point. Not worried about all the little ancillary things in life that can go wrong, not worried about the willies and the nillies, like, oh, well, this might happen over here, and this might affect this, and this might affect that. Aries ascendant people are like, nope, this is what needs to be done. I'm setting out to do it. The actions that I take are going to just show that this one thing is what I'm going for. So they're not doing it like, I want to make this world a better place necessarily, or they're not going about it like, I want to make sure everyone else is situated also. That's going to be very important for my activities in life, to be, no, that's the end goal that I want. That's what Capricorn is all about. Capricorn is all about just getting dirty and doing the job, but doing it in a very efficient and effective and practical manner, because that's what an earth sign is. An earth sign is all about what I have to work with and what is there. And then I talk about not seeking reward, because that's the nature, because now Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is a Shudra planet. Saturn is, and the Shudra is the lower working class. And the lower working class, if you think about in our society, at least here in America, the lower working class people are people who are just living paycheck to paycheck and just trying to survive and taking the actions that they need just to survive in life. And so that means not going on vacations. That means not doing extra actions. It's like just doing the action that's the bare minimum. And but with an Aries ascendant, it's not necessarily like they're lazy, like they're just doing the bare minimum, but it's more like they're just so straight and to the point that it's like, this is the action, the activity that needs to be done, and this is where I'm going with it. They can be very simple in that matter, as Saturn is a simple planet. And so is Capricorn. Capricorn's a sign of not wanting to make things any more difficult, of seeing the things that are wrong and that they know what things can go wrong. And that's what drives them to take their activity in life and to do the one thing that they need to do, because it's like, well, I know that if I do that, I see that this, and this is wrong. I'm going to do exactly what needs to be done in the most efficient and effective way to fix this, to make this work. So this is just the start of a discussion. And remember, this is the static nature of an Aries ascendant and just talking about what Capricorn as the 10th house means. Now, once we start placing the planets in signs and houses, that's going to greatly affect the way the house structure and system works. And this is without any planets, without any considerations of house lords conjoined, this house lord here, or how is Shadbala of this or that. This is just straight, basic, flat nature. So anyways, I ask that if you like this video, thumbs up, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And, well, thank you for taking the time. And namaste.